Did you know you're probably throwing away free flights without even realizing it? No matter where in the world you are, if you've ever bought a plane ticket, you've probably missed out on free travel rewards. Today we're going to make sure that never happens again. Understanding how to make use of points and miles is one of the best ways to get great deals when traveling. I've used points and miles to get hundreds of great deals on travel. They're one of the biggest reasons I'm able to visit dozens of countries every year. Airline points and miles in particular are an essential tool to any traveler anywhere in the world. And in this video, we'll be going over the basics of how anybody can earn them and use them to travel more and better. The first thing to know about points and miles is that they are simply a currency. Think about dollars, euros, dinars, pesos, or whatever currency you use on a daily basis to make purchases. Points and miles are the exact same thing, except they're more limited in what they can buy you. As I see it, there are basically three types of game-changing points and miles. You've got the ones from hotel brands, the ones from credit card companies, and the ones from airlines. But simply not everyone is going to want or need to use hotel points, and credit card points are kind of a different beast entirely. You will definitely hear influencer after influencer talk about credit card points getting them a so-called free first-class flight or an overwater bungalow. But of course, right after that, they're usually going to tell you to click on a link to apply for a credit card yourself. Hey, I am definitely guilty of staying in luxury hotels or flying premium classes using credit card points too. But guess what? The credit card offers that are actually useful are usually only for US residents, and they're not always all they're made out to be either. I'm all about helping everybody travel, and those credit card points are really usually only accessible to US residents with a very high credit score. So basically well under 1% of the world. But hear me out. Here's why airline points and miles are useful to everybody to know how to earn and use. Pretty much anybody looking to travel needs to fly from time to time. I mean, if you want to sail around the world in a boat or something, that's cool too. But if not, taking a trip usually means taking some flights. The mere fact that you need to fly means that you can earn points or miles. And as a side note about what people usually call points and miles, we'll talk more about specific airline currencies a little bit later in the video. But just to clear any confusion about terms up, you could also refer to airline points and miles as airline award currencies. I use the word award here simply because when you use an airline award currency to book flights, that's usually referred to as an award redemption. In much of the world, you might also see this called a reward redemption. It doesn't really matter if we use the word award or reward, we're talking about the same thing. Basically, each airline has its own name for its airline award currency. For example, United and American Airlines have miles, while JetBlue has points. British Airways, Qatar Airways, and Iberia have Avios. And there are really just a bunch of varying names that airlines use for this. For simplicity's sake, airline award currency covers them all. But let's take a step back to understand why airline award currencies are something that every traveler should know about. Say at your job, everybody gets the same salary. But at the same time, everybody is entitled to a bonus. There's a catch though. You have to hear about the bonus by word of mouth, and you have to personally ask for it within a certain time frame. So a few months go by and half of the employees that you worked with heard about the bonus, asked for it, and received it. But the other half don't talk much at work, and they just didn't hear about it. So after a few more months, the bonus expired and they just didn't get the bonus. Now, replace money with an airline award currency and your fellow employees with people on a flight with you. Everybody sitting on that plane could be earning miles or whatever airline award currency that airline has. But half of the people flying are unaware of what they're owed. So they never get it, and they just throw away the currency they're owed, probably without ever knowing that it existed. On top of that, there's probably a few people on that plane that have taken many flights and earned many currencies. So many that they paid for that flight that they're sitting on using the miles or currency or whatever that they saved up. Those few people are who you aim to be by earning airline points and miles. Sorry, airline award currency. So let's dive right into how anyone and everyone can take full advantage of this. Just like if we were talking about any other currency, before you use it, you must earn it. And it's probably already clear that one way to earn an airline award currency is by flying. Now there is the credit card game, which we've basically already addressed. If you do have access to huge credit card bonuses, then definitely don't sleep on that, take advantage of it. But as we've established, this is just a privilege that most of the world doesn't actually have. If there is enough interest here in how to use credit cards to hack your way to better travel deals, I can definitely consider making a separate video on that. Just let me know down in the comments. But that out of the way, flying is how most people can most easily earn airline award currency. It's really just about knowing how to do so. You've got low-cost airlines, or what some people will call budget airlines, which might or might not have their own airline award currency. But honestly, these airlines do very often turn out to be more expensive than other airlines when you add in all of their extra fees. But on top of that, even when a low-cost airline does have its own airline award currency, most often that currency is not as valuable as the currency of a full-service airline that's in an airline alliance. But what is an airline alliance, you might ask? Well, I'm so glad you asked. The vast majority of airlines around the world are members of one of three alliances. This means that all airlines in one alliance are partnered together. So you can use an airline currency from an airline in an alliance on any other airline in that same alliance. The three alliances are Star Alliance, Oneworld, and SkyTeam. I'm not going to name off every member of each alliance here, but you can see Star Alliance includes large airlines such as Japan's ANA, United from the US, German Lufthansa, and Ethiopian Airlines. Then Oneworld has got airlines such as British Airways, Qatar Airways, American Airlines, Japan Airlines, and Finnair. And finally, SkyTeam includes airlines such as Delta, Air France, KLM, and Kenya Airways. So essentially, whenever you fly on any member of an alliance, you can earn a valuable airline award currency. The little catch here is that some airlines in an alliance might give you more currency than others for the exact same flight. And there's also the website wheretocredit.com, which has basically all of that information in one place. One little important detail to looking that up is that you have to know which fare class you've booked. But this is just a video about the basics. We're not going to dive into every single detail about fare classes. Just know that either on the ticket that you get in your email from the airline or by calling the airline, you can find out which fare class you've booked. But regardless of that, you probably don't want to always earn with a different airline award program every time you fly. Basically, to make use of airline points, miles, or whatever currency we're talking about, you need to save at least some of them up. Like, you generally just aren't going to be able to walk up into a grocery store and really buy anything with 5 cents. And it's pretty much the same thing with 500 or 1,000 miles. Say you have 2,000 miles here and 5,000 miles here, and 1,000 points there, and then another 3,000 avios here. That's just nearly always going to be much less useful to you than having 11,000 avios miles points or whatever in one airline award program. But hold up, we will actually get into how to use the airline award currency that you earn in just 1 minute. One other thing to keep in mind is that some airline award currencies will expire at some point. A few examples of currencies that don't expire are United Airlines miles, Delta Sky miles, and Alaska Airlines miles. I tend to mostly try to earn with award programs like that, where possible. But if I do happen to have a use for an award currency I'm earning in mind already, or one airline award program just offers much more value than any of the others in that alliance, then I usually take that into consideration too. Also, one thing that could seem obvious to some, but is really worth keeping in mind, is that you have to actually have a frequent flyer account open to earn airline award currency. Usually, you do have to have that account open before taking your flight to earn those points, miles, or whatever currency. But the really great news for you is that it's entirely free to open up frequent flyer accounts. So if I were you and you don't have a bunch of frequent flyer accounts open already, I'd probably just take an hour or two and open up a bunch of them. I mean, the only thing it costs you is a little bit of time, and if you just sit down and open up an account with basically every airline and every alliance once, then you'll never have to do it again. One little tip that I've used a few times in the past is that every once in a while there will be a little bonus that they'll give you for opening up a new frequent flyer account. Usually that's not the case and they don't give you anything for opening up a free account, but it's definitely worth being on the lookout for that. Now, there are a few other ways to earn airline award currencies as well, but just like with credit cards, they're going to be a bit more limiting. Some airlines do have shopping portals that earn you some currency each time you make a purchase using one of their links. Some airlines also partner with various brands, and basically you just link your frequent flyer account with that brand's account, and each time you make a purchase with that brand, you also get some kind of bonus points or miles or whatever. But really the thing is, anytime we're talking about making purchases, there's a chance that you might have not planned to make a purchase from a shopping portal or a potentially expensive brand. What is for sure is that you want to travel and you're going to be taking that flight. So once you've flown a few flights and earned a few airline award currencies, gosh, this does sound funny to say, points, miles, or whatever else it might be, how do you use those? Well, let's see. The basic concept is that you take that airline award currency, you go to the airline's app, website, or call them or whatever it is, and you book flights using that currency. But there's definitely a little bit more to it. Let's look at a little example for this one though. It's just going to be easier to make clear that way. You've been flying a lot recently with airlines in the One World Alliance, and you've got a bunch of American Airlines miles saved up. Let's say you want to use those miles to fly from Adelaide, Australia to Aomori, Japan on July 8th. Well, sadly, as it turns out, there are not any flights available that you can book on that day using your American Airlines miles. This is because there are no seats available for an award redemption. Usually, people will refer to these seats that are available for an award redemption as award space. So on July 8th, there's no award space. But say you're slightly flexible and you'd be okay with flying on the next day. Well, you're in luck. There is award space on July 9th. So now you're able to use your hard-earned miles for a nice flight from Australia over to Japan. But wait, there's more. In addition to miles, you still have to use some money to pay for taxes and fees. The exact amount that you have to pay can vary drastically depending on the route you're flying, which airline award program you're booking with, and really a bunch of other factors. In this case, the taxes and fees are $85 and 40 cents. Now, sometimes there actually can be zero taxes and fees, but that's very rare. Other times there can actually be hundreds and hundreds of dollars in taxes and fees too, so it's really worth researching that. Of course, it really would be much more ideal if you never had to pay any taxes and fees, obviously. But in this case, they are minimal enough, and it's still way cheaper than booking flights just using your money. You could definitely find much better deals using points, miles, or whatever airline award currency, but I think now you get how it works. The bottom line really when it comes to the basics of airline award currencies is that first you do have to start earning them. But to sum all of this up, the really great thing here is that absolutely anybody can earn airline award currency. Now, what points and miles can actually get you is often very misrepresented if you're not a US resident with a very high credit score. But still, time and time again, I have conversations with fellow travelers just all over the world who are pretty much unaware of the fact that anybody could be earning these points and miles, airline award currencies, basically on every flight they're taking. Basically, the idea here is that by flying, you can earn an airline award currency, and then later, you can get flights using that airline award currency that you earned. So I hope all of you who are getting started with points and miles have found this video really helpful, and do make sure to give it a like, as well as share it with as many travelers as possible to get the good word of points and miles out there. If you have any questions about all of this or further insights to share, definitely drop a comment below, and I will see you all in the next video. Do not forget to set up all those frequent flyer accounts.